Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Intan Syazwina Salsabila. I come from 60 class. So in this good occasion, I would like to explain my material about speech delays. Of course, it relates to our current issue about psycholinguistics. So here we go. Okay. Before we start our explanation, it would be better if we know about the definition of speech delay itself. So here we go. Okay. As we know, child develops at his or her own pace, but if our child doesn't talk as much as the most children at the same age, maybe the problem is speech delay. So we can get the point that a speech delay or a speech and language delay means as when the child is not developing speech and language at an expected rate. And it's a common developmental problem that affects as many as 10% of children, especially preschool children. Okay, next part. We are talking about the symptoms of a speech and language delay. So, a child may have a speech delay if he or she is not able to do these things, such as for the first, say simple words like mama or dada, either clearly or unclearly by at the age of 12 to 15 months. And the second is understand the simple words such as no or stop at the age of 18 months. Next, talk in the short sentences at the age of 3 years old. And the last one is tell a simple story at the age of 4 to 5 years old. Okay, we come to the next part. So we are talking about living with a speech and language delay. I wonder how a child with a special needs, especially speech delay, is living. So we are talking about this. Okay. If our child speech delayed due to the hearing loss, hearing aids or cochlear implants may help our child hear speech. So the reason that why I say about this because once our child has access to sound and speech, she or he may be able to develop language and even catch up to his or her hearing peers. Besides, if our child hears and understands language, we can encourage him or her to speak by talking as much as we can around them, of course. And then describe about what we are doing as we are doing in every activities. Keep talking, and if our child speaks, confirm what she or he is saying, and always provide positive feedback, of course. And In line with this, speech and language delay, speech and language delay can be frustrating for parents, whether for parents or a child itself. Children who cannot express their thought and emotion are more likely to act out. They anger easily, temperamental. In other words, we can say it as temperamental. And they may use unexpected behavior to get our attention, of course. And try to remember our child doesn't want to communicate with us. And the most important thing is praise their efforts for everything that they are doing about. Just praise their effort. That's the point I think. Okay, next we are talking about, this is the pictures of my cousin. So this is my cousin who has a speech delay. Honestly, this is based on my true story. So I have a cousin who has special needs. Her name is Hesti, and I usually call her as Kak T. And for me, she's a special girl. What is the reason that why I talk about this? I say about this because in her whole life, it's always filled by laughter. Sometimes every year when I do the Mudik culture, I love to use this time to interact with her. For the information, my village called Guntung, it's just about 4 hours from the city centers of Sembilahan. But in the other hand, at the age of 2020, she is still cannot talking perfectly. I mean, she suffered from speech delays. Yes, based on what I've taught you before, she is a cheerful girl. But yes, in all her life, is only able to master only a few vocabulary. She could not to do it perfectly. Even though that her parents tried to train her to speak, but she couldn't to do it perfectly. If she tries to pronounce it, then she could not to do it. Then if we categorize it, we can categorize it as a 4-year-old is talking. She is a 4-year-old child is talking. When I ask her about everything, then about something about everything, she could only respond with laughter. But as a result of this condition, her condition especially, she is only in the 2nd grade of senior high school. Okay, maybe it was about a little bit about my cousin who has a speech delay. Okay, we move to the next part. Now, this is the concept based on the characteristic of psycholinguistics itself. So I said concept. based on the characteristic of psycholinguistics. For the first, of course, based on what I've taught you before, for the first, she has a weakness in acquiring languages. Next, the second is she suffers from speech delays and there is no development in the number of words in her whole life. Based on what I've taught you before, this is the point that I want to say. And the third is she is not able to use a language, of course. And the fourth, there is no connection between the need for expression and communication. And the last one is the fifth, there is no psychological process in building or understanding a sentence that is said by others. And this is the point too. Okay, we move to the next part. So this is the table of the simple table of the development of normal children's vocabulary according to the age should follow. And this is the following stage should be mastered by the child. If we want to say that those children is a normal children. Okay. Now, at the age of 1, the total of words, of course, is only a few words should be mastered by the children. And next, at the age of 2, the total of words that should be mastered by a child is 200 until 270 words. And at the age of 3, the total of words should be mastered by the child is approximately 900 words. And then at the age of 4, the total of words that should be mastered by a child is approximately 1,520 words. Next, at the age of 5, the total of words that should be mastered by a normal child is approximately 2,060 words. And the last is, at the age of 6, the vocabulary the total of words that should be mastered by a normal child is approximately 2,550 words. So we can get the point that unfortunately, if we try to categorize the vocabulary development of my cousin who is 20 years old can be the same as a 4-year old child. Okay, maybe it was my explanation about speech delay, and I hope that what I give today, all of what I give today would be useful for all of you. Okay, I would like to say thank you very much for your nice attention. See you and have a nice day.